Hello, welcome to the Graphically Hip channel. I realized and somebody pointed out to me that I had never introduced myself in my previous videos. So I'm going to do that really quickly right now and then I'm going to get right into the next tutorial. So my name is Sarah. I live in British Columbia, Canada, and I have been a graphic designer for 11 years, working in various different print shops, newspapers, all kinds of different applications of graphic design. And most recently, I have been running my own business for the last 2.5 years called Graphically Hip, which is the title of my channel. And I do graphic design and printing. We print all kinds of things: decals, heat transfers, apparel, promotional items, vehicle wraps, all kinds of things. So that's me. And welcome to the channel. I'm going to get right into the next lesson. So this is a lesson that um, I thought I would teach you because it was a very helpful lesson for me to learn when I was in graphic design school. And I know many designers now who struggle with this particular lesson. So the lesson is using the pen tool. For those of you who are newer to Illustrator, this tool is absolutely invaluable. And I'm going to tell you why in just 1 second. Sorry about that. Just had to pause the video for a sec. So the pen tool is really great for creating shapes, customized shapes and things like that. But also it's a really handy tool when you are wanting to cut out a raster image. If you don't know what a raster image is, it's basically anything that you create in Photoshop or any photograph or any image that you find online that isn't specifically from a vector website is called a raster image. So raster just basically means it has pixels. See the pixels? That means raster. Vector image is this. That is vector. Because I created this in Illustrator, this shape, it is now vector. When I zoom in, there are no pixels. I mean, there are pixels because it's on a screen, but there are no pixels really in a vector shape. And vector also means that you can expand it to any size and you never lose quality. Whereas if you expand a raster image to any size, you definitely lose quality. So you can see the bigger we make this image, the less quality it has. So where the pen tool comes in handy with a raster image is, let's say you're making a t-shirt. So we're going to grab our pen tool and we want to cut out Slash. This is my favorite guitar player, Slash. So we want to cut him out. And we don't have a tool like Photoshop or remove.bg it just isn't doing the right thing. So we're going to cut him out using the pen tool and make our own cutout. So I always start, by the way, the keyboard shortcut for the pen tool is the letter P. So you start by clicking where you want to start. So let's say we're going to start on the edge of his guitar. And then I'm going to go up to, because I've used the pen tool so much and I'm very proficient, I know where to start and stop for the most part to make sure that I'm getting the right curves. So I'm just going to go right up to the tip of the guitar here. And I'm going to keep holding my mouse button down and I'm going to pull and drag. Okay, so now I have my first curve. I'm just going to quickly change that to outline because I don't want to fill this in. Now, if I just keep trying to go up his arm, it's going to make it very difficult for me. So what I'm going to do is click that point, and that ends that curve so I can start a new line. Then I'm just going to keep going up his arm, pulling and dragging, clicking and dragging all along the way. And My trick for the pen tool is to stay with like inside the shape that I want to cut out, because if I go out here, you're going to see that tiny little sliver of brown in there. So I want to stay inside the skin in this case. And then again, I'm clicking it to get a new starting point. And then I'm just going to, for every kind of curve, I'm just going to click at the top of that curve and drag out the curve. And just keep going and keep going and keep going. See, I'm stopping. And you don't have to be exact here, right? Like, we're not looking for perfection. We're just doing the best we can. Now, in this case, because I want to turn this into a t-shirt print, I'm not going to have any bleed here to work with. So I will teach you a trick on how to do that as well. So I'm just going to keep going, and I'm just going to roughly do this for time's sake. I mean, you could get really intricate with hair. Hair is really hard when using the pen tool, but for this video, I'm just going to roughly get the edge of his hair. And so I'm just repeating that same step over and over and over and over again. Clicking, dragging, stopping the point if I need to. Sometimes you don't need to. Like here, I'm not needing to stop my point. I'm just going to click and drag. Here, I don't need to stop my point. I'm just going to keep going. Again, the hair, big mess. And you could get really intricate in the little curves and wrinkles of his shirt, but again, for time purposes, just speeding along here. So, another really cool trick you can do is you can cut a person halfway out of an image, which looks really cool because it makes them look like they're standing out of it, which, okay, I'm just going to speed through this for time purposes. You get the point. So there's his outline. Now I just want to quickly trace these holes here, and this isn't going to look the best because I'm speeding through it, but there's 2 holes with background in them. So basically we're just trying to cut the background out of the picture, right? Okay. Now I have my outline. I'm going to grab everything, hold shift to deselect my background. That way I have only my outline selected. I'm going to right click it and go make compound path. And again, there are keyboard shortcuts for all these things. And then I'm going to select everything. So just like that. And now you see when I select my white, it selects the insides too, because I've made that one compound path. So I'm selecting the whole thing. I'm going to right click and go make clipping mask, and voila. So now we haven't gotten rid of that background. It's still there. You just won't be able to see it if you go to print it. So it's still there if you double click within your clipping path and all of that stuff. You can see that I'm off on my lines there, but that's okay. So now we need to add a cut line to this guy. So I'm just going to double click on my cut line, or on my line that I created, which is right there. And just double click again to get into it. And I'm going to hit Command C or Control C if you're on a PC. And then I'm going to click outside of it, get back to my regular view of him, and hit Command F. And that's going to paste that line right into place. So I'm now going to give that line my cut contour stroke, which should be in my library, but of course it isn't. So I'm going to create that from scratch. And you'll know from my last tutorial videos how to do this already, so I'm going to speed through it. Okay, so now you can see that my pink outline is there. And because I have no bleed here, I have no like extra skin or extra t-shirt to add bleed to Slash, all I'm going to do is add a black box behind him because, and I'm going to use my eyedropper to make it the color of his shirt so that it kind of matches. So it's not 100% black, but that's okay because it'll kind of match his shirt. And I'm going to send that to the back layer. Now, when I print this on a t-shirt, I am, if my cut line is off even just a little bit when I send this through to like my heat transfer vinyl, it's going to show through black, and that's okay. Oh, and I guess I didn't grab my inside shapes here, so I'm going to do that really quick. And I'm going to color those pink. There we go. And I'm going to put this on a black t-shirt anyways, so having a little bit of black around the outline won't matter. Now, the other trick you can do here is to grab your entire cut line. Again, I'm going to, hang on here. I need my cut lines, not my image. Sometimes it can be hard to grab the cut line. There we go. Now I have that cut line, and I have that cut line, and I have that cut line. And the way I know is because this pink line stayed there the whole time. So I'm going to make that a compound path, which the keyboard shortcut is Command 8. And then I'm going to go Object, Path, Offset Path. And I'm just going to do a little offset path here and say okay. Now I'm going to delete my original cut line. And that leaves just a bit of a black outline around Slash, which would make for a pretty neat t-shirt, especially if it's going onto a black t-shirt, because then it will kind of, the outline will disappear. If this is me, I'm getting rid of this little thing by using the direct selection tool. Just select one node and hit delete on your keyboard twice, and that'll get rid of that little piece so that you don't have to weed it out. So that's how you use your pen tool to cut out an image. The other awesome thing that the pen tool is for is literally creating your own custom shapes. And you can do that, get used to it by just playing around with how the pen tool works. But mostly it's just pointing, dragging, and getting a feel for how to use the pen tool to the best of your ability.